The Greg Kelly Show.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven.
Name that tune.
Ring with the harmonies of
It is the Black National Anthem. Always capitalize the B. It's a pleasant song with a very perfectly fine singer. But it should be banned at the Super Bowl and any other football game and any other event in America. The Black National Anthem. You know what the White National Anthem is? Heil Hitler. White supremacy. We don't like white supremacy, right? We also don't like black supremacy, which is a thing. Which is absolutely a thing. And you know how it manifests itself in something called black identity extremism. And then you have Mr. James open fire on a subway when he's hunting white people because he's so disgusted with them because he's gotten so many anti-white messages by watching MSNBC. You don't have to go. If you're a white supremacist, you really got to go out of your way to find that crap. You got to go to the dark web. You got to go somewhere weird. Or maybe just Ted Cruz's Twitter account. I don't know. Just joking. I love Ted Cruz. I know the liberals hate him. He's not a white supremacist. Nobody is. James Flippin, you live in the woods. You don't know any white supremacists out there, right?
No, definitely not.
That wasn't that convincing. That was very pro forma. No, definitely not.
I mean, it's just a absurd concept. No.
It is, right? It's so un-American. If you want to know how America feels about white supremacists, just watch the movie The Blues Brothers. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? No, you were born in 1985. Were you born in 85?
I was, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
That movie came out in like 79 or 80. And the Blues Brothers, they're on a mission from God.
Right.
To get money for the orphanage.
Yeah.
And they're driving along on this mission from God. And they're held up in traffic. And Jake asked the cop, "Hey, what's going on? What's the holdup?" He goes, "Oh, those fools won their court case." Like, what, who? The Nazis. They're having a protest because they won in court. And then they show these, and then Jake looks at Elwood and Elwood looks at Jake. Nazis, Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis. And then they hit the gas. And then they all jump into the river. And everybody's like giving the finger to the Nazis. Nobody likes Nazis. That's how America feels about that stuff and always will. And anybody who subscribes to it is ostracized. I don't think they should be prosecuted. I don't think they should be persecuted by the government. I don't want to be friends with them. But I think we leave it at that. All right. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about the concept of, it just seems like there's much more anti-white than there is super pro-white out there.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, I'm reminded of where's that commercial from? The flag football commercial. I don't know why they're pushing flag football. The NFL is pushing flag football. You know about flag football, which is actually very fun to play. I played it as a kid. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole scene here is, I guess they have this woman who's really good at flag football. She happens to be black, and the situation is she's up against the kids in school who are white, right, and jerks. She's cool and black. They're stupid and white. And it sounds something like this. Cut 19, please.
Let's settle this once and for all. Your best guy?
Girl.
Whatever. Versus our best guy. The Brad.
Oh, not the Brad. I'm Brad.
I can read.
All right, and then they had this big standoff, right?
I did, yeah, I remember that commercial.
And Chad is obviously a white guy's name, and Brad is also a foolish white guy wearing tighty whitey shorts. And the girl, I can read. I mean, she's cool and black. You can be cool and black. You can be cool and white. Every white guy in the commercials now is stupid. And there was a time when I watched The Odd Couple and those shows from the 70s. They were kind of mean the other way around. I will admit it. I've seen it before. And they made fun of, gosh, The Odd Couple. They used to make Oriental. They used the word Oriental. They don't use that anymore. I don't think it was pejorative back then, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then anyway, they did stuff that was not nice by today's standards. So where does that leave us?
Well, I mean, I guess for some people it's about course correcting, or you have to push things all the way back the other way in order to fix it.
Do you recognize this voice? Are you ready? This is, just listen carefully, all right? Cut 1.
Microsoft should not be allowed to own the browser market. If they do that, then they will own the gateway to the internet for every consumer, and that is almost certainly likely to result in a less valuable experience for the consumer.
Yeah, it's Elon Musk.
Ooh, it doesn't sound anything like Elon Musk to me, but it is Elon Musk.
You could hear it's a little more. He's a little more assertive now, but he still has some of that kind of halting. Well, I'm not sure.
Well, over the years it changes. Listen to this. This is him in a little bit more recently, still in the 90s, 99. Cut 2.
Just 3 years ago, I was showering at the Y and sleeping on the office floor, and now, obviously, I've got a $1 million car and quite a few creature comforts. It's just a moment in my life.
He had $1 million car in 1999. What kind of car was that?
Yeah, I don't even know. That's crazy.
Now, his big thing, I don't know if you realize this, is taking us as human beings to another planet or another solar system, i.e. another star, because this planet one day is going to go away. Let's take, I don't want to do this, but let's not think in divine terms right now.
Okay.
Let's think astrological, astronomy, physics, all that stuff.
The phases of the sun.
Apparently, the sun is going to burn out in about 1 billion years. And then what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah. Well, first it turns into a red giant.
But think about this, and I hate to be crude. If you, the world is about 4 billion years old, right? It's been around for 4 billion years. Let's pretend 4 billion years equals a great big giant roll of toilet paper. And you unfurl the toilet paper that you get at the store on 3rd Avenue here, right? I don't know how many blocks that would go, right? But let's say it would go 10 blocks. 4 billion equals that roll of toilet paper. So from the prehistoric to dinosaurs, right? On that toilet paper, if it's a timeline, when do you think men and women show up, human beings?
I mean, I know that it's like not even a full square of paper. It'd be like
Yeah, you already know all this stuff. I wanted to blow you away. I think it would be right about the middle. No, you're right.
Yeah.
It would be, you got a little sliver of the last slice. That's when we showed up. That's 50,000 years.
Which, I mean, you say 4 billion in and of itself, that's like mind-boggling.
It's totally mind-boggling. And actually, when you think about it, time can bend. If you listen to Einstein, so who the hell knows? We have to get off this planet sooner or later. And that's what Elon Musk is all about. Cut 3.
I think it's important that humanity become a multi-planet species. I think most people would agree that a future where we're a spacefaring civilization is inspiring and exciting compared with one where we are forever confined to Earth until some eventual extinction event.
Right?
Yeah, and I think also just the pursuit, right? Like the actual exploration and what it is to have something to shoot for in that respect. All the scientific and medical, agricultural expansion that you have with that.
So this super duper smart guy, who, by the way, he really put it in perspective about President Trump in a way that I had not thought of before. Maybe but I didn't say it like he said it. This is after President Trump got shot, a couple of months after, and they're having another event. I think they go back to Butler. This is Elon Musk talking about what happened to President Trump when he was shot. Cut 6.
The true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight. Blood coming down the face.
Fist pumping after getting shot. When he said, that's right, nobody in the world, nobody in the universe would do that.
Yeah. Don't you remember they wanted to make it out to be that was like a doctored image or that was not a real photo? with the blood.
Anybody who gets shot, the one thing you think of is getting the hell out of there.
For sure.
Keeping your head down. I took some metal to the face once. I didn't, from the Iraqis. I didn't like get up and give them the finger and say, screw you, we're going to win.
Right.
I got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
I got that. Although, you know what I did? My buddy was still in shock. And I knew he wasn't with me. So I ran back and I got him.
Yep, that's what Marines do, right?
Well, I was impressed with myself, to be honest, because you don't know what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's this whole thing with, what's his name right now on Twitter?
So right now, Elon Musk, the handle is still at Elon Musk, but you can change your name, your printed name. You could make it whatever you want, puppy dogs and ice cream if you want to. His says Harry Balls.
How do you spell his last name?
Bolz. And then first name Harrison, but Harry.
Yeah.
And there's some speculation as to what this could possibly mean.
Wasn't there a guy in Doge and that was his name or something?
So I thought that's what this was all about, because there was a guy who I think is like 20 years old, 21 years old. He's working for Doge, and I guess his profile has been raised as a result of that. So people went digging into his past social media. And sometime in the past, he did something that was worthy of internet cancellation. I'm not sure if he made fun of a particular race, women, something homophobic or whatever. I honestly don't know. But he was fired from Doge, this guy, and then brought back. And I believe you're right, because this particular report that I'm looking at doesn't reference that.
Well, here's the deal. Everybody's like you just a moment ago. Harry Balls. Get it? Harry Balls. Which I think is, quite frankly, a little bit juvenile. But now that people are saying it, people are getting a big kick out of it. And this is that totally uptight, totally weird, totally fake news Dana Bash.
Okay.
Dana Bash. Nobody knows how to say her name, by the way.
Yeah.
Who's always looks like a zombie. You ever notice that?
She does, actually.
She's totally freaked out all the time. And she's totally freaked out when she says this. You ready? Go ahead.
Now, the disruptor in chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Harry Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge."
All right, so the guess who's really delighted by that, tickled by that? Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
He retweets that. I got her to say it.
For sure.
I think Elon Musk actually watched President Trump be president and saw, you know what, this guy's having a lot of fun. This would be fun too.
Yeah.
To actually lead the country and do things, and people
I like
react.
your Musk, by the way. It's a little bit too Austrian, I think, but it's good.
A little Arnold, but for a first try, it's not bad.
I like it.
So that's what he does, I think. And let's face it, Trump is having the time of his life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question. Frankly, when the thing with Elon Musk happened, where he said, from my heart, I want to thank you, the supporters, and then everybody made it out to be a Nazi salute. When I first saw just a 3-second clip, I thought it was him trolling everybody. And he was like, watch this. They're going to freak out based off what I do here. In the reaction to it and knowing how much he kind of, talks about the Holocaust and other issues with October 7th, I don't think that's what it was. But he is a troll. He enjoys getting that reaction from people.
Me too. You name it. I had to turn over my log on my password to Twitter.
You've told me this before.
To my wife.
Yeah. Because you had too much fun.
I was having too much fun. I was going viral every second. The Washington Post was doing big exposés. Who is this guy and what is he after? What does he mean?
I used to love the way you would respond to people very earnestly, and they would get on Twitter, and they would get really furious because you'd just be sort of doubling down on the silliness, but acting as though you didn't mean it in a silly way.
It was so much fun, and actually half the fun is the people on Twitter reacting.
That's what I mean.
But their responses, even the so-called haters, they're brilliant. They're smart. People are brilliant and smart. That's what just a newfound respect, admiration for people, no matter where the hell you are. We all got it going on as human beings. Be right back. Thank you, James.
This is the Greg Kelly Show.
Let's settle this once and for all. Your best guy?
Girl.
Whatever. Versus our best guy. The Brad.
Oh, not the Brad.
I'm Brad.
I can read.
Of course, not only is the white guy a goofball, but he's uptight, right? He's totally uptight. The black girl is cool. The white guy is uptight and stupid. And oh, by the way, sucks at flag football. I can see why people wouldn't like it the other way around. I can also see why people don't like it this way around. And it's every commercial. I think it's all going to change. People are sick of it. And there's plenty of stupid people to go around of all, right? All stripes, all shades, all colors. Pardon me. Brad. I do like the way he says that. Brad. What is the other thing? Ooh, those hostages better be home by noon on Saturday or else, President Trump, right? Cut 24.
As far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
Wow. All right. You got that, Hamas? And yeah, if we develop Gaza, well, that's almost like a charity project. President Trump said, we take Gaza. So how are you going to buy it? No, we have it. We take it. They take him again, the whole thing about literally versus seriously. Anna Paulina Luna is a very, very intriguing lawmaker. She's a congresswoman from Florida, and it looks like she has a new task force focused on declassification of federal secrets, including records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King, and other documents of public interest. James Comer appointed Luna to this chair, the Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets. Luna is expected to focus on examining the declassification of materials in the public interest, including the client list of Jeffrey Epstein, files related to September 11, 2001, COVID-19 origins, and UFOs. Excellent, 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 Anna Paulina Luna.
You're listening to The Greg Kelly Show.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that it,
Remember, this is the right thing to say. Everyone's saying, oh, Vance is in trouble now. No, he's not. He's probably going to be the nominee, but we'll see. There's going to be competition. Marco Rubio, a lot of other people are going to run just like they did in 1988, and that's fine. And at this point, hey, Ronald Reagan did not endorse George H.W. Bush until George H.W. Bush essentially clinched the nomination at the convention in New Orleans and then went with Dan Quayle for some reason. All right, so the other matter is President Trump just spoke in the most interesting way about a situation that you and I have confronted at some time in our life. A bully. B-U-L-L-Y. You were probably a bully at some point, and you were probably bullied. Everybody has done one or the other, sometimes both. I have done both. More the former than the latter. More being bullied than a bully, but I was both. Let's hear it.
You know what a bully is, right? You know the bully, I've always, and I found it throughout my life, a bully is the weakest person. And they're bullies. Hamas is bullies. The weakest people are bullies. You know that, right?
It's interesting, right? I guess when I was a bully, I wasn't necessarily doing it from a position of strength. I think he's onto something. King of Jordan, Abdullah II, they just worked out a deal, and I don't think this is going to be enough, but it's nice. It's definitely nice. 2,000 children from Gaza will be sent to Jordan. Jordan is basically in the region, right next door, not far at all. It borders Israel. Look, they got to take these people, these refugees. There's nothing there. The ruins of Gaza, and start anew. He just used the word, well, we'll take it. People are freaked out about that. It's okay. They're always going to be freaked out, in part on purpose. And if you're freaked out about everything, it doesn't really work, right? You can't gather any momentum. The opposition, the silly media, Democrats, they got to pick something. They're all over the place, and that's kind of the way he likes it. I also like this, and we haven't heard about it in a while. I am sending Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, to Ukraine to meet with President Zelensky. This war, in all caps, must and will end soon. Too much death and destruction. The U.S. has spent billions of dollars globally with little to show. When America is strong, the world is at peace. I love it. And the relentless pounding away at news. FEMA, he writes, spent tens of millions of dollars in Democrat areas, disobeying orders, but left the people of North Carolina high and dry. It is now under review and investigation. The Biden-run FEMA has been a disaster. FEMA should be terminated. It has been slow and totally ineffective. Individual states should handle storms, etc., as they come. Big savings, far more efficient. How many times are we going to learn the lesson actually about FEMA? Right? It's the same thing over and over again. So, I guess Katrina, right? And Superstorm Sandy, it's the hardest thing to deal with is a bureaucracy. If you can successfully navigate the bureaucracy, you can probably successfully rebuild your own house. You got enough money because you're so super smart. I noticed that I once, for the hell of it, what to do if your landlord wants to evict you over COVID restrictions. I was just kind of curious. What does it say? It was the hardest thing in the world to navigate. How do you do that? If you could navigate that, you would not be in a position where you were renting an apartment. All right. You would own the block. Okay. That's how much skill it took. The other thing, did you guys, we all know that Tom Brady really stunk the other night, right? At this announcing thing. He cloistered himself for 2 years to learn how to announce, and he doesn't know how to announce. But that's okay. That's okay. Even for Tom, that's okay. Number one, the guy wins when he fails. $400 million. It's kind of obnoxious, actually. The money was obnoxious. He's doing the show, and there are commercials during the football game for him about the battery, about the milkshake, about the car, about, racism and Snoop Dogg. It's too much. This guy is overexposed. And what the hell is up with his weight? He is like ultra thin. He's like Zoolander model, kind of male model like. But whatever. This doesn't hurt him. He's got a great attitude when it comes to the subject, when it comes to the reality of failure. Failure. People fear failure. They'll do anything or not do anything, more likely. They won't take action because of the fear of failure. Tom Brady, whatever, he's got a lot of interesting thoughts. Cut 10.
The reality of your business and your career is overcoming adversity.
Yes.
And the only way to do that is to fail. And the only way to fail is to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Because you're always in your comfort zone, you're not going to fail. So if you fail and then you figure out a solution to the people you work with to overcome the failure, you gain a lot of self-confidence. And if you gain self-confidence, then the next opportunity you have to succeed, you got a much better opportunity to do just that. So to me, failure is amazing because it teaches you and really forces you to look inside yourself about what you need to do better.
Well, very wise words. I don't think he invented that. Oh, by the way, you go any self-help, any management book, it says stuff like that. But coming from him, yeah, it's Tom Brady, and it should be considered. Speaking of failure, Samuel L. Jackson the other night, the actor. I don't know what he's thinking here. Cut 12.
Squabble up, squabble up, squabble up.
No. Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto.
That's right, Samuel L. Jackson.
Do you really know how to play the game?
It was too ghetto. It was too ghetto. Whatever the hell he was doing. What's his name again? Kendrick Lamar? I got to tell you, there's something very strange. Not enough scantily clad women. Too many dudes, and quite frankly, they're all gay, and that's fine. But 95% gay dudes dancing with a man, there's a certain energy that comes off that is exclusionary, right? You feel kind of left out if you are not like that. Doesn't matter. It was free. You know, people nitpick the hell out of this stuff. It was free. It was free. You know, we still have this thing called congestion pricing in New York City. You come south of 60th Street. 60th Street. 60th Street has been around since the Dutch. I think they moved up there in 1700. It's crazy. This is our land. We should be like the Indians, you know, like seriously rising up and pushing back against the government. Not seriously, but something along those lines. This is our territory, baby. We don't pay $9 to go into a neighborhood. Bad enough that you're charging us for some bridge that was bought and paid for 90 years ago. Cut 25, please.
Well, President Donald Trump is emphasizing his determination to kill off congestion pricing.
Yeah.
He says it's hurting businesses, but that's not the only change he wants to see in New York. Let's get right to Good Day's Haley Fixler. She is live from Columbus Circle with the latest.
Hey, good morning, Dan Tashani. Well, Trump told the New York Post not only does he want to get rid of congestion pricing, he also wants to get rid of bike lanes. He says it's one of the biggest contributing factors to traffic in the city. Now, if he does get rid of congestion pricing, he says he'll do it through the Federal Department of Transportation. So here is what we know. Trump could reopen their environmental review process, which would put a hold on the tolling program. Another option for Trump to try and stop the program could include withholding a portion of the $36 billion 5-year federal transportation funding to New York State.
I knew it.
He continues to call these $9 tolls to get into the central business district, quote, destructive to New York. Now, Trump did have recent phone calls with Governor Kathy Hochul, but he has not gone into detail yet about what they've discussed. However, the president told the New York Post that he is hopeful the ongoing conversations between the two will lead to a mutually beneficial plan. Since the toll went into effect in January, the MTA has reported an increase of ridership on the subways, the buses, and the rail system. The MTA also says there's been an...
The MTA is lying. They're lying. They're totally cooking the book. I love this so far. What can we do? Environmental review issues. Cancel federal funding. The $36 billion. Just cancel it. Cancel it. We want something. We want this to go away. What else, news reporter lady? Keep going.
Decrease of travel time for buses and commuters who still opt to drive. But Trump believes the tolls are hurting businesses.
Yep.
He told the Post the fact that traffic is down is a bad thing because then people aren't coming into Manhattan and they aren't spending their money here. Trump also says city leaders should focus more on safety and cleanliness on the subway, citing some recent violent events, including shovings, stabbings, and a woman who was killed after she was lit on fire on a train car. Now, Trump also warned that other federal grants could be at risk until congestion pricing is gone. But of course, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens next.
Shovings, stabbing, shootings, and shovings. Well, those shovings are awful when you get shoved on the subway tracks. Got a lot of options. The presidency, very, very powerful office. And he's using it to the hilt. And it is a glorious thing. It's a wonderful time to be alive. Be right back.
This is the Greg Kelly Show.
Patrick Hernandez and his worldwide hit Born to Be Alive, 1979. Born to be alive.
Born to be alive.
You see, we're born.
Man, that must have been an awesome time, the 1970s, right? Chicks not wearing bras. The men look like men, the women look like women. People actually still went to nightclubs. We weren't just sitting around watching TV all day long. Amazing. Amazing. What do we got now in 2025? It's still amazing. I can ask my iPhone anything in the world, and it will give me an expert answer. think I'd rather be at Studio 54, actually. You know, you had to go out and actually experience life. You had to go out and confront people to make things happen. You could open up the New York Times, the help wanted pages of the New York Times, and they had like high-level jobs in there. Is there a help wanted section in the New York Times? No, it's all like word of mouth or, you know, GoDaddy or this website. You ever feel like you're throwing your resume just nowhere when you post it on a website? I guess LinkedIn is okay. I don't understand it myself. I don't know how it works. I noticed that nobody seems to want to put their own picture up on LinkedIn. They don't put their own picture up. Why is that? It's just like everybody has a ghost image for LinkedIn. Anybody here on Ozempic? As a goof, I tried it. Too grovelly. It makes your stomach just not good. The injections are not good. It makes you feel nauseous half the time. I think that's part of it. They make you feel sick. Don't do that. Don't do the injections. New Jersey diet, things like that. That's a much, much, much better way to go. Rich Lowry is one of the smartest guys in the world, writes for the National Review. I really like him. Sometimes he's been wrong on Trump. But the right just experienced its best 3 weeks in the culture in 50 years. A blitz of executive orders issued by President Trump have taken dead aim at left-wing cultural priorities and pillars of the left's cultural influence. Fashionable, progressive ideas that have long been ascendant, including DEI and gender ideology, have received hammer blows since Trump's inauguration, and there's more to come. Never before has control of the executive branch of the federal government had such potentially momentous cultural significance. The Trump administration is determined to use every tool at its command, chiefly federal funding, but also the enforcement of civil rights laws, to push back against decades-long trends that have long felt inexorable. For quite some time, conservatives have focused on the notion of a long march through the institutions to understand how the left came to dominate elite culture. The phrase is attributed to the 1960s-era left-wing German activist Rudi Dutschke, who wanted, in the words of a progressive analyst, to create radical change from within government and society by becoming an integral part of the machinery. The left's insight was that by taking over faculty lounges, Hollywood studios, HR departments, and the like, it could bring about revolutionary change in a way that it couldn't through the ballot box or a frontal assault on such institutions. Now Trump is bringing to bear a real counterforce via federal power. This represents a new way of thinking about cultural change for the right, and a strange reversal, to wit. It's the progressives who effectively used civil society to their ends, and now conservatives are attempting to use government to theirs. Government played a role in the tide of left-wing cultural change, but it wasn't necessarily the dominant one. The takeover of elite culture was largely driven by private actors, the hiring policies of university administrators, the funding decisions of large foundations, and the practices promoted by corporate HR departments, among other things, had an enormous hand in effecting a de facto cultural revolution. The Department of Health and Human Services did not direct Disney to inject woke storylines into its programming. The company did so on its own. Trump is a new factor in this equation. The most recent example was the executive order late last week saying that federal funding would be withdrawn from educational institutions that permit males to compete in women's sports. The NCAA instantly changed its policy to say that only athletes who are female at birth can compete against females. Trump's anti-DEI executive order will have similar effects, at least among federal contractors, and perhaps more broadly, definitely. Daniel Patrick Moynihan once said, "The central conservative truth is that it is culture, not politics, that determines the success of a society. The central liberal truth is that politics can change a culture and save it from itself." Trump is borrowing from the liberal truth in this moment of cultural insanity. In part, his executive actions represent a case of what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Barack Obama could use the threat of a cutoff of federal funds to impose star chamber procedures on campuses in sexual assault cases, there's no reason Trump can't use the same tool for more rational ends. Naturally, everything Trump has done will be subject to litigation, and liberal institutions will do all they can to skirt his executive orders. There may, as happened the first time around, be a backlash against him that stokes cultural radicalism. So far, no such reaction is evidence, though mainstream institutions like Meta are treating Trump's return to power as a permission slip to escape the chains of their woke captivity. It helps that on DEI and trans ideology, Trump is offering the recovery of a normality that is much more popular than the alternative. I love that. The recovery of a normality that is much more popular than the alternative. However, it turns out the feeling of conservative impotence in the culture war is, for now, a thing of the past. Good job, Rich Lowry. Amazing. The culture. What is more dominant? Politics, government, the culture. It's all kind of integrated. Yes, E. Frank, how are you?
Yes, how are you, Greg? I apologize greatly. I don't want to over-exaggerate. I left you hanging the other day when you called me to talk over the air, and I disrespected the fact that I wasn't there to...
I didn't call it. What? All right, I have no idea what you're talking about. What is it? Let's talk about today.
Okay. You know, I feel a little bit confused about what's happening to Kanye West. They say that he's losing his mind and he's doing anti-Semitic rantings in public more than ever now. And I was wondering, what is your opinion in regards to what he's with his T-shirts with swastikas and his new statements?
I don't know. He seems pretty lost to me. I don't know. People say he's a genius. People say he's a maniac. I don't know. I really don't. I could not name one Kanye West song. Not one. Zero. I don't know what his voice sounds like. I don't know anything about the guy. I don't know a damn thing about Kanye West. I don't think I'd even recognize him. In 2010, I went to a movie premiere. The movie was called Runaway, and he was supposed to be there. It was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. I left at 11:30. Like, the movie wouldn't start until Kanye got there, and Kanye wasn't there. That's my experience with Kanye West. Don't know a damn thing. Thank you, Frankie. Dino in Queens. Yeah, hello.
Yes, hello, Greg.
Yeah.
Back in 1979, I was going to the Fun House. You remember that club? The
No.
Fun House?
No.
Oh, you were too young, maybe.
Where was it?
It was on 12th Avenue. It was a gutted factory.
So
it
we're
was,
on the west side. Was this like a cruising joint? Sounds kind of right. Was it kind of one of those places?
It was a disco. It was a big factory they got. It was a club, and they still have it on the internet. If you could find it on the internet if you FaceTime it. The Fun House.
I love listening to that car alarm behind this guy. Wait, what happened there at the Fun House?
I'm on the boulevard, on Queens Boulevard. Something happened. The guy's keys, I don't know.
It's so funny, actually. Everybody in Queens calls their boulevard Boulevard. People around people around Woodhaven Boulevard call it Boulevard. Queens Boulevard. All right, What's your point, real quick? You got 10 seconds.
Okay, Maxine Waters and Chuck Schumer, all that crime. And who's that? Can I please ask you, who's that big woman with the bald head?
Ayanna Pressley. Yeah, I know. They're fools. Don't worry about it, though. They're done.